we're now continuing to our next session, the partner's journey from A to Z. And actually, we're going to talk about it soon, but there's an A, but not necessarily a Z to this process, because once a partner starts a journey, it's never really ends. So to talk about this topic, I'd like to invite Avital Cohen. She's the Enablement Program Lead, and Aviv Kaspi, Partners Operation Manager at Monday.com. Hi, Avital and Aviv.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Hi everyone.
So let's start with a short introduction. Aviv, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yes, so I'm a Partners Operations Manager at Monday. I joined the team about 3 months ago, so I'm quite new, but still a lot of stuff that I'm doing and I'm being involved with. So it's really fun. I have experience in the business operations domain, not only partners, but the entire go-to-market departments. And yeah, that's it about me. Happy to be here today.
Avital, what about you? Avital, you're on mute.
Sorry. I'm also very happy to be here and excited for this event in general. So as Dara said, I'm leading the Partners Enablement team. I joined Monday a bit over 3 years. I was actually the second one to join the team after Asaf. I did different position within the team. So I started the referral partners program. Then I was a channel partner manager for the North and South America market. I did all kind of things around operation, marketing, enablement, and now I decided basically to focus on the enablement side.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting to have a session with someone who is here for over 3 years and someone who is here for 3 months. So we have two interesting point of views. So before we dive into the enablement program and how it looks, let's talk about the impact. Why should we put so much resources on an enablement program for partners, Avital?
Yeah, so I think some can start a partners program without thinking about the enablement, just getting revenue or getting partners, and they're missing a big portion of the impact that they will get from that. So the first one we can discuss is really how we make sure that we know the level of professionalism and quality of the performance. So Asaf mentioned in the last session that, Oren, sorry, I don't remember, that the partners are the face of us in front of the clients. They represent Monday. So we need to make sure they are well professional. They know what they talk about. They don't say stuff that are not true for the clients. So we have to make sure that the level of professionalism is really high, and is exactly like, for example, an internal salesperson.
Right, they represent the company like any other salesperson.
Exactly. The second one is again, talking about performance, is the time to quota. So when we are basically enable, or in this case, onboard a partner in a better or more efficient way, we really give him all the tools and everything he needs to success, he can get to his quota faster. So if for us, for example, it takes a partner 3 to 4 months to hit his quota, with improving the level of enablement and the onboarding that the partner is getting, he can get it in 2 months. So that is what we are aiming for.
Yeah, we also received the questions about how to help the partners make money. So I think this really answers it.
Exactly, yeah. We're going to talk about other stuff, but that's probably the most important question. Yeah. The third point is partners' engagement and retention. So I think by having a good, solid enablement plan, that the partner is feeling that we invest a lot of resource in him and in his success, it will make him more engaged. It will make him more engaged with the product, with the program, and he will invest more resources in the partnership because he feel that he's valued and he has a lot of potential to grow with that. So I think that's also a really important point. And the last point is about scaling the partner ecosystem faster and better. So it kind of relates to all of what we discussed by really putting all the foundations and setting up the ground to be more efficient, to automate more processes. We're basically able to have more partners. So for example, let's say 6 months ago, a year ago, we were able to onboard about, I would say, 15, maybe 10 partners a month. I'm talking about reps. Now with the whole enablement program that we're going to share now, we're able to onboard 100 partners a month. So we're able to onboard much more partners and basically to catch up with the scale that we're looking to have.
Yeah, so it relates exactly to laying the infrastructure for scale that Oren and Asaf were talking about. What we're seeing here on the right, is it a message from a partner?
Yeah, so it's actually it's an email that I got a few days ago, and it's an email. I really like to read it because it's showing that we are not just teaching him about the partner. We're not just teaching him about the product. We're teaching him much more than that. We're teaching him like real life use cases that can then he can go and when he's talking to customer, remember what he was taught and implement it. So it gives him a much more like I would say a wider umbrella for him to learn and to be more professional.
Okay, so let's talk about how we began. And I understand that the enablement program didn't always used to look like it does today.
It sure did. And so Asaf mentioned that when he started and then I joined, we just said, okay, we're starting. Let's have partners, and without like thinking a lot about the infra. I wanted to say there wasn't a lot of infra back then, but actually there was zero. There was none. So it took a lot of manual work from us. What do I mean by that? So for example, Oren mentioned that we gave back then in the days, we gave leads to partners. So the way that we gave it in the first days was just sending them by email Excels, which was obviously not efficient. After we wanted to make the process more efficient, we moved it to a Monday board. But everything was still manual. We literally wrote the leads details in the board. And if we want to update them, for example, if the client paid, we needed to go check it manually and update it on the board. So obviously, it took a lot of time from channel partner managers, the one who manage those manual processes.
Yeah, and instead of focusing on the actual work, you have to, put things manually, and it probably takes hours.
Yeah, I think let's say in the tough days, I think half of the day of a channel partner manager was doing those manual tasks, doing thing for the account. Also, we need to remember that our partners are globally. So if I'm managing a channel partner in Mexico and I'm based in Tel Aviv, it can take sometimes in 48 hours until something happened because of the time difference.
Right. So the entire process is taking much, much longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so any other points in this area, or do you want to run?
Yeah, I'll talk just about the reporting most. I think it's really important point. One of the challenges that we face also is the lack of reporting. We didn't have really a place for the partner to know where they're standing in the middle of the month, or how much they gain, how much they are going to gain, and it's something that we felt that is kind of hurting us in what we want to present to the world or to the partners. So we felt that that's, I think, one of the main challenges that really, in some point, we said, okay, we can't take it anymore. We need to upgrade and upscale what we have right now and how we work. I'll just say maybe in one sentence about the limited training program, because just to show really the difference and how much we progressed since then. Back in the days, it was a doc with some links to some movies, some articles, and that's it. We told them, read this, start to sell. And obviously, it didn't, again, match really the values and what we believe in.
Right, and we just received a question about, saying that Monday is a pretty intuitive tool, but what do we do when we need to go into more technical processes or technical details with our clients? So how do we approach that with our partners? And I think what we're going to talk about pretty much answers that. So what we're saying is that not only that the training process was slow and hard, but it also didn't really align with our values, right?
Exactly. I think that we touched also on the last session about the values, and it's here now. And I think that all of the things I mentioned didn't match it. So transparency, we want to be as transparent as we can with our partners, but we're not showing them reports that for technical reasons, we're not fully transparent with them. Speed and execution, if it takes for the partner to get something that can be maybe automated like 24 hours or 48 hours, that's not a good speed and execution that we expect from us and from the partner. Same goes for ownership and impact. The partner has less impact, all because of like manual labor and lack of reporting.
Yeah, and then also something that Saf and Oren mentioned, how we share the data with them because we know it helps them, follow their KPIs, know where they stand, and how more do they need to push in order to reach those KPIs.
Yeah.
So we did a shift in how the entire enablement process looks like. So this kind of graph describes how it looks today. So what are we looking at here?
So we're looking at kind of basically an infinity that includes certifications. As I've mentioned, we're going to talk a bit more about that. The tools that we enable to the partners and for the partners, community, the webinars and the events. And I think overall, when you're looking at all of that, it really gives a really solid ground to really give them the best enablement for the partner. And also, it's pictured as an infinity because, like you mentioned in the beginning, it's not A to Z. It's A to A and over again because it's an endless progress. You always need to make sure that the partners are in the level that you want. And it doesn't matter if they're just starting or they're partnering with you for 3 years now. You still need to have the same level of professionalism.
Right, because also the company and the product keeps growing, right? So we want to make sure the partners are aligned with that and that they are aware of all the developments we do in our product so they can deliver it also to the clients.
Exactly.
So now we'll dive into each part of the enablement program, and we'll start with a short video about our certification program, which will give us a context to talk about later. You can't hear it, right?
No.
Okay. It has nice music, but so this is, let's just describe what we're looking at here. This was the video.
So I'll just, yeah, I'll give an explanation about it. So we did launch our certification program, I think 2 or 3 months ago. And this was a movie that basically was kind of an intro on the program. So it shows basically the different badges that the partner can earn and the different pathway that he can take. So
yeah, so we see a lot of types of badges here, and we'll just move to the next slide to really talk about what's the value in having a certification program. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think the main point is really for us, I mean, on the vendor side in this case, is to validate the partner knowledge. We need to know that the partner knows the product, you know how to sell the product, you know what to say, you know how to market the product. And to do that, we need to certify him. We need to teach him, first of all, and then also test him and see that he capable, he learned what we taught him and he's capable to perform after that. So what we did is we basically created a pathway per role. We define it to a different roles within the partner company. So we have one for the sales, one for the account manager, for the customer success, and for the marketing, all of those roles within the partner company. And each one of them has his own pathway. Each pathway then has different badges that he earns. So we teach him about the product, of course, that's the basic for all. But we also teach him how to sell Monday, how to do account management, how to manage expansions, and a lot of different basically topics. So it really gives them a more holistic learning experience, not just to learn about the product. We really give them a more wide learning experience. And the learning experience also really kind of visual, I would say, like Monday, and it's fun. It has videos, it has guidebooks, images, GIFs, written lessons, and also interactive quizzes. So in the end, really kind of to give a really interactive and fun experience for those who learn, not just, to mark next, really to learn and get the knowledge.
Which also helps us to make it viral, right? We
Exactly.
can see here an example of a partner that shared a certification he received, right?
Exactly. So I talked in the beginning about the vendor side, that we need to validate the partner's knowledge, but also on the partner side, he wants to get certified. For him, it's prestige. It means that he's certified with the partner that he's working on. He wants that. We have a lot of more examples of partners showing their badge and basically they're proud of it. And I think it's great virality of Monday in general, but also on the partners program. We can then in the end, we talked last session about how we get more partners. That's one way to do that, to create virality to the program that we have a really extend certification program that can definitely get more partners interested in the program.
we received a question about what platforms do we use for training?
So we actually just started to use an LMS um, called Listening. And before that, we used Monday. We still do use Monday, actually. We use both.
Makes sense. We had another question, not really related to certification, but it is related to the entire enablement program. So Samuel asked, what happens if a partner doesn't achieve quota? So let's talk about that because it's not the only thing we measure, right?
It's not the only thing we measure, but it's an important point. I mean, we mentioned before tiering. So certification, by the way, it's also part of the tiering. You need to get specific certification in order to go up in the tiering. And also, you need to have to reach out to your quota and to pass the quota in order to go up in tiering. A lot of the work of trying to get them for the quota is being managed by the channel partner manager and not necessarily by the enablement manager. We give the support for the partner and for the channel partner manager to help them to reach the quota. But the channel partner manager in the end is the one that's supporting him in his day-to-day sales.
Right, but in the end, all these processes and tools that we are going to talk about, these are the ones that's supposed to support him and provide him, actually enable him to succeed, right, and to reach those numbers.
Of course, that's a crucial part of it. We discussed it in the beginning. Without a good enablement program, it will be much harder for him to hit the quota. If it doesn't hit the quota, we have different things we do to try to help him to do that.
Right. So let's dive into which tools do we actually use to work and to create better relationships with our partners. So it says here, the first note says Big Brain. So Aviv, tell us a little bit about what is Big Brain and how do we use it?
Yeah, sure. So just before I explain what is Big Brain, I just want to explain why. So why to expose tools to the partners and invest in those tools. So basically, we are a data-driven company. So everything we do, every decision that we take is based on data. We have here screens everywhere with dashboards, and it's really important for us to enable the partners and give them the same data and the same visibility that we have internally. So we want to share with them the KPIs. They are fully aware and fully exposed to the details, to the numbers. The reason, of course, that we want them to also be data driven and get the right decisions based on the data, and also to share the same KPI. So if we measure them on a specific KPI, as Oren mentioned in the previous session, we want them to be aware of that KPI and to make sure they really hit, let's say, the quota, as the question that was raised here before. So they need to have the visibility. So it's very important. And the second point for why, it's actually because we want to have the same experience as was mentioned in the previous session. They are actually a proxy for Monday. So we see them as part of the company. So we want the selling experience and the success experience to be the same. So it's really important for us that they use the same tools that any CSM, account executive, so the tools we use internally at the company, they use them as well. That way they understand our side and they have the same visibility. And also, and maybe more important, the customer gets the same experience. So we want the sales experience to be the same, the success experience, and so on. So it's really important to streamline the processes and give the partners the best tools that we can give them. So now to explain what's Big Brain. So actually that's an internal business intelligence tool that we built here internally. That tool actually gives us visibility to the customers and usage metrics and everything that is actually related to the customer, but it's also an operational tool for us. So all the, let's say, operations or activities that we want to perform on the customer, if it's to extend a plan or to change a plan, to grant features, they can do it using that tool. So basically, we expose the tool to the partners. Again, we have here an agenda to give the partner an autonomy to run the sales cycle, and also after that, the success process, the retention process from A to Z. So we want them to have all the tools they need, everything that they need to do to communicate with the customer, to do everything they need to do with the customers quick, without the need to go back to us and ask for all that to be done on our side. So the motto here is basically to give the autonomy and make sure they have the visibility.
Yeah, and
So
I think it's important in a few aspects because, first of all, giving them autonomy provides us the more time to, work on other things and make progress on other processes, which is exactly what Avital was talking about earlier. When in the initial stages, when we didn't have that program, we couldn't have that ability to progress. And second, it's actually giving the partners a signal that we trust them, right?
exactly. Yes. So it's both. There are here like two sides. It's the trust level on the partner and giving him the feeling that he's part of the company and he's part of that something that is bigger. And also the channel partner manager, like they have now more time to invest more on the partner and the customers to actually run strategic reviews, to recruit more partners and give more value to the partner and the customers. So yeah, that's really important.
Right. So just for, not every company has its own big brain.
Mhm.
So what other tools can companies use to share data with partners?
Yeah, so as long as you have the data, you have let's say, the usage metrics on the customers, for example, and it's stored in your internal databases, you can expose it to the partners in any BI tool that is there in the market, for example, Looker or Tableau, any tool that you use. So it's doable, and you just need to make sure that you create the right visibility and then provide access to the partner. Shouldn't be a problem.
So this is an example, right, of what we're actually sharing with partners.
Yes, so that's an example for one client. That's of course a fake one, and that's what a partner sees. So if you see, there are here a few tabs. So they see high level on the account. They have the option to see the features that they use, billing. They have also a place where they can really take actions, as I said before, like granting features as an example. So that's actually an entire word. And by the way, based on interviews with partners and discussions with them, we really see that they really benefit from the tool. They say that it's game changer. The fact that they can see the features that the client uses and they can have a smart and deep conversation with the client about those features, really understand what is the value that the customer gets from Monday. It's really game changer and it helps them a lot. If it's to sell new business and if it's to expand and retain existing customers. So it's really powerful to enable that data to the partner. And as you said before, I just want to emphasize it. It shouldn't be something that you build from scratch. You can share the data in any tool that exists
We
in the
also
market.
we also received the question if we use a partner portal, and do we
Yes.
have
So
some sort of partner fee?
So no, we don't have a partner fee at the moment, and we do use a partner portal. That's actually the next slide here. Um,
Let's move to
of
that.
course, that we have, and we can also discuss about it. A lot of future plans about the portal, and we have a lot of stuff to do and where to improve, and that's always we are evolving, of course. But at the moment, we actually use Salesforce as the Salesforce community. It's important to say. So all the partners, of course, they have as part of the certification, they have a lot of lessons and even a badge about partner admin. So they are trained how to use all of the systems, and then they get access to Salesforce community. Basically, they get the option to manage if it's the lead, the opportunities, the current portfolio. So that's basically the operational tool where they live on a daily basis. And it's not only that, but what's also important is that they get visibility to dashboards and reports, like you have here as an example. It's important to say that we build a lot of dashboards for the partners. So as I said, if we have a KPI and they are all aware of that KPI, we have dashboards to actually share and expose those KPIs and where they stand. But they also can build their own dashboards, their own reports. So we give them full access to the system, and they can use the data for whatever needs they have.
Yeah, so just take us through this example. What are we actually seeing here? What kind of data are we sharing with them?
Yeah, so we see here, and that's just a small example. We see here the ARR that they do in, that's again just an example of a fake partner. So they can see the performance up until now in the month in terms of added ARR. They can see the forecast that they have for this month and also for the entire quarter. They can see the pipeline that they are generating in weeks, and they also see the forecast and the trend of the forecast month over month. And then that's again only one preview. We have a lot of other dashboards about the lead funnel and the portfolio, the current portfolio. So they know when is the renewal date, for example, what is the NPS of the customers, of the partner, and so on and so on.
Mm.
And just one more comment about the CRM. It was very important for us. We use Salesforce also internally, and it was really important for us that the partners work on the same system as the consulting team, the internal, the direct sales of Monday, because we really believe that it increases the potential of cross-sell opportunities. So we really encourage the partners and the sales team to work together, leverage the knowledge and expertise of the partner and the sales to sell better deals, larger deals, and so on. So they have visibility and they can work together. That's also important.
Yeah, we also received a question in that area. Vital, maybe you can answer that. Someone was asking how much time or resources we're spending on a new partner, and is it similar to what we invest on new sales account executives?
It's a really good question. We are trying actually to make it, I would say, more or less similar, because like I said in the beginning, the level of knowledge should be the same. Obviously, we have different challenges as the partners are located in different countries and not always speaking the language that we speak. So there are some challenges that we are less facing with the internal team. But that's why we did the certification program, exactly to make the experience, I would say, a bit more online and self-served for the partners to make it more easy. We do invest a lot of hours, putting aside a lot of hours that were invested in building the certification program, but also we're doing hands-on sessions. Just today we had in the morning, for example, a workshop. We invited a few partners to practice how to build advanced workflow. We are having office hours for new partners and such. So I need to think about the exact amount, but I would say it's getting somewhere to what we invest in a new salesperson.
So let's dive into the next tool we use, which is actually providing the partners with a sandbox environment. So how do we actually do that, Aviv?
Yeah, so that's actually a cool one. So basically, we have a shared Monday account with all of the partners. So they all have access to that sandbox environment. And there are a few purposes for that environment. First of all, they can train and they can use that environment in the onboarding session if they want to practice on everything that they learned on the product, for example, how to create workflows, how to use the apps that we have, so they can really use the account and do whatever they want. And also, we actually use that account to share common use cases and even complex use cases. So let's say we want to do an implementation for a finance team or any other use case that exists. They can go into the account and they can see what is the best practice, how we recommend to implement that use case, and they can learn. And what's also cool about it is that that's a shared environment. So all the partners can see what the other partners are doing. So they can also collaborate and learn from each other. So it's really important and powerful tool for the partners. And also it's nice because they use Monday that way and learn better the product.
Right. I think it's it's very easy to do that with Monday, like giving the partners just to use Monday and understand the platform better. But I think it's something that every company should have in mind is how do you make the partner itself use your product? just to make them understand it better, and then sell it better or represent you in a better way with the customers?
I think that we were lucky because Monday fits a lot of different use cases. So almost all the partners that we're working with are using Monday. And that's a huge advantage. They know Monday, they know different use cases, they understand the values and the features. I think that other companies, not all of them have this privilege, of course, but a lot of companies, they need to make the partner use the tool for his own use case. If it's, I don't know, if you're working in a CRM or you have an app that is doing event management or anything like that, make the partner use your app for their own processes, for their own workflows, and so they can really understand what's behind the product and not just go and sell it as reading the features or reading what you have on your brochure. So I think that's probably one of the most biggest selling point that we have, that the partner can then use it with the clients.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, let's talk about our community. I think it's something pretty unique. So, Avital, tell us what we're seeing and also what we're looking at in this GIF that I'll pause in a minute because I know it's confusing to keep looking at something that is moving. But tell us what we're looking at.
Yeah, so we're seeing our community board. It's a board in Monday that we manage the community. We see here two examples of posts. One, for example, the GIF is a celebration. Someone posted about a big deal that he closed, and a lot of other partners and people from Monday cheering him and celebrating the success with him. And on the right side, we see a question that's being asked by one of the partners, and then another partner is answering this question, and another partner is getting involved. And I think that's the essence of the community. So maybe let's take a step back. So the community is kind of my baby, I would say. We opened that about 3 years ago. And the reason was basically we needed to give announcement to the partners if there is a feature release or something like that. And then we opened a board, a shareable board on Monday, and we announced those things. But we saw that it's becoming much more than that. It's a place where partners want to share ideas, want to share use cases. They want to ask about integrations, about anything else. And because it's a place that partners cannot just get, the announcement, they can also ask, reply, communicate. It's becoming a really place for discussions between the partners and the team, between the partners and the team in Monday. So
yeah, so let's talk about the members. Who are the members of this community? Is it only partners? Is it customers as well, or is it Monday employees? How is it built?
So we have, I think it's probably the most packed board in Monday. We have about, I think, 700 or 800 people on the board. Wow. About more than half of it is partners that are member. And the rest is the team, obviously, the partners team within Monday, but also other people, other functions in Monday. We have people from product, from customer success, from sales, from operation, from legal, from design. So if there is a question that's been asked and maybe the partner doesn't know how to answer, I don't know how to answer, I can ask the legal manager or a design or product.
Right, there's always someone to answer.
Yeah, there's always room for more questions. I checked before the session what type of message or post were done just today. It's a really, as you can see from the number of people on it, it's a really vibrant community. Just today we had, for example, we celebrated a big deal that one of the partner closed, so that was announced. We had a partner asking about some integration with a different tool. We had a partner asking about a competitor, if anyone worked with a specific competitor. We had me announcing a webinar. So it's still a place for us to announce things. So if there is a webinar that we're going to talk in a second, or feature update, everything is being done in this community, and it's become like really the place for them to hear and be heard.
We receive the questions. Our partners, do they receive updates, product updates before the customers do?
Yeah, for sure. They're getting a weekly. In Monday, we have a lot of feature updates, so they're getting on a weekly basis, and yes, they're getting it before.
And a word we have to run, but just a word about how this community started, because let's just say not everyone has to use Monday for community. It can also be on Slack or a Facebook group or wherever you want, but how do you get it started? How do you get the partners so involved?
At the beginning, when I started the community, I think it was like 20 or 25 partners, and they were less active, I would say, than what they are today. So I started to raise discussions. For example, ask question like, who do you find as money competitors? Did you ever face this and this kind of use case? I was trying to create discussion. I was trying to raise the community. Now I don't do it at all because it's so packed with other discussions that there's no need for that.
Yeah. So let's run to the next process, which is webinars and bootcamps. And I think a lot of companies have webinars. So let's focus on the unique aspects in our program.
Mm-hmm. So I think I would say two maybe stuff that make this unique. One is that we usually webinars are on product webinars. They're teaching you on how to use it or or new features. We are doing that, but we are also doing much more in other webinars. For example, you can see some of the webinars that we just did in the last few months about how to run your social activity for the partner, how to better manage your sales workflow, how to position pro versus enterprise, and so on. So that's something. And another thing that is actually pretty nice and cool tip for you guys is that when before COVID started, we did a webinar just like in the same concept that we are doing right now. And when COVID started and we moved, unfortunately, for online webinars were always online, but everything was online. And when it started, we are not doing webinars we call it webinar, but we are actually doing a Zoom call. So if a partner wants to ask a question during the webinar, he needs to open his mic, he needs to open his camera and ask the question. Obviously, it creates much more engagement of the partner. Usually the first 5 minutes are like coffee chat about, weather in Sweden or, I don't know, how is the lockdown in London or stuff like that.
Yeah. And so this is also the bootcamps you were talking about. How does it look today?
So the bootcamps are different in a way that they are focused on specific territory or geography. So for example, yesterday we had a bootcamp for the North America channel partners. And the second thing is that it's focused on specific topic. So yesterday, bootcamp was focused on sales. So it was all sales session, how to do a better demo, how to sell big, how to position the values, and so on. And we have, I believe in December, another bootcamp for the APEC community, which is more focused. We decided this time to do it about more technical, about apps, about the marketplace and stuff like that. And we see a lot of value from the bootcamps. Another thing that differentiates a bit the bootcamp from the webinars, that we try to always have a more hands-on experience in the bootcamps. Workshop, they need to train, they need to work with their hands a bit. And I think that's also create a lot of value.
Yeah, so it's a bit more focused and a bit more, you aim it for a different group each time, and then you can maybe deep dive into specific topics rather than, have a general webinar where you have to cover a lot of topics at once.
Exactly. Usually for the number of people taking part in a bootcamp, we limit it. Depends on the topic, between 20 to 40. And webinars, we have hundreds joining.
Okay, and this is the last part, I think, of the process, which is the partners event. So also, a lot of companies are doing a partners event. What was different in what we did?
So on the picture on the left, you can see now it's kind of weird to see those kind of pictures, but last year we did our first global event. One thing that was pretty unique about it is that we decided to do it in Tel Aviv. Usually when companies are doing it, it doesn't matter if they're Israelis or not. They're doing the events in a more, I would say, international location, Vegas, New York, stuff like that. Yeah. And we decided to do it in Tel Aviv because we want them to be here, to feel us. So the first day, for example, of this event that brought 100 partners from all across the world. We have partners coming from Australia and Mexico and Colombia and wow. A lot of other countries. The first day was more like, sessions, lectures to learn about different departments within Monday. And the second day, they came to the office. So they would spend the whole day in the office, walking around, meeting people. They had workshops, again, hands-on workshops. And I think that was kind of probably the best experience for them, and it created a lot of value for them. They understand that they are part of something big. It's not just before that, we were on Zoom all the time before it became such
Yeah.
relevant for everybody. And it was the first time for us to meet them, and it was the first time for them to meet us and to see the company, to see. It's been discussed a lot in your in the podcast that we have all over the office, all the screens with the dashboard. And think about the impact that it makes a partner to step into the office and see the dashboard, see the numbers, see the CEO walks and saying hi to him. So that's created a huge impact.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you were talking about, the community where, it's not just partners and it's not just partners managers, it's also all the employees of the company can be members of this community. So that's a way I like to take the community and make it live. You actually meet the people you're talking to on a daily basis, or the people who are developing the new product features you are then talking about to customers. So that's pretty unique.
Exactly, and it was exactly like that. I remember it was a year ago, but I remember that one of the product people came to me and said and asked me, "Can you call two partners? I want to do like a usability test for them." And it just happened in the office. And I think for
Amazing.
the partner, it was pretty unique experience. We did had another event this year, which was an online event, of course. One thing that we decided is to make it where the event last year was a event just for partners. This year it was a track within the more bigger event that Monday has, and I think we want them to learn more. So we did had one day of event that was online just for the partners. We had different session on the partners program. We had a story from a client that came through a partner. We have even one of our investors talking, and we did want it to, because obviously it's a challenge moving an a face-to-face event to an online event. We did want them to feel more connected. So we also did the workshop, even though they were online. There were workshops where they, did they needed to choose the topic, and they can basically train on how to do better sales or marketing,
We
or
also had prizes for partners, right? I think this is one of the main things that help us really make them engaged, even though it was online. So let's talk about that in a sentence because we really have to run.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So we did give awards for like the best performing partners in different areas and different categories, and that definitely created a huge impact. I think all the partners that won obviously then went out and shared with the world that they won, and they're the best performing partners of Monday. And all those who didn't win, it became more engaged. Okay, I want to be the winner next year. I want to get it. What do I need to do in order to do it? How do I perform better? And I think that created a lot of engagement, a lot of like buzz around the event.
So just to really end things quickly, we came back to this slide because it's really a never-ending cycle, like you said at the beginning, right, Avital? It's really about keeping the partners engaged, keeping them learning and developing all the time together with the company.
For sure, I think that having maybe just an onboarding and maybe stuff after, it's not enough. You need to always to to make sure that it's like a customer in the end. If you just sell a product and that's it, you will lose him. But if you really invest in the relationship and you farm the relationship, you will see much more than that. The partner will gain more, and you will gain more from the partner. So always, for the certification, for example, they need to renew it every year. So
Right.
again, to make sure that we are validating the knowledge. The tools, we are always adding more, and we're trying to give them and expose them to more data. Events, we are planning to do local events and topic-based events. So always to do more and really create more engagement points between you and the partner.
Okay, so now thank you, Aviv and Avital, so much for this session.